Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone, and today we are doing our weekend review for the last Premier League game of the season, starting off at the Vitality Stadium with Bournemouth 2, Leicester 0. And yeah, it was two quite late goals. Jefferson had a goal disallowed in the 65th minute, but it didn't matter because Semenyo scored two in the 74th and 88th minute to seal the win for Bournemouth. And yeah, Bournemouth dominated this game really from start to finish, and yeah, in the end they got their reward, had to wait a bit of time. But yeah, it caps off a highly successful season for Bournemouth, but for Leicester, not the way Vardy wants to go out, and yeah, miserable return back to the Championship for them. Manchester City secured their Champions League place with a relatively comfortable 2-0 win away at Fulham. It was Gundogan in the 21st minute who gave Man City the lead before Haaland doubled that advantage from the spot. And yeah, City in the end probably deserved the victory. Fulham did create chances but couldn't really put them away, and City yeah, we're definitely clinical. So yeah, big win for Manchester City. They'll be absolutely delighted with that. But for Fulham, disappointing result. And yeah, just not quite enough for Fulham this season. But for Man City, after such a tough season, relief to get in the top five. Moving on in through Ipswich against West Ham. And it was West Ham who ended off a tough season, defeating relegated Ipswich 3-1. It was Ward-Prowse who gave them the lead on a stroke of half-time before Broadhead equalised. Bowen put them back ahead in the 55th minute before Kudos in the 87th minute sealed the win for West Ham. And yeah, in the end, it was quite a tight game. But I think West Ham just showing the Premier League quality they have up front with the likes of Bowen, etc., sealing that win for them. And yeah, for Ipswich is a tough season back in the Premier League, but I think there's optimism they can go again next year. But for West Ham, yeah, good win to end a tough season. There was a mood of celebration at Anfield for both teams as Liverpool took on Crystal Palace, of course Premier League and FA Cup champions. It was Ismaila Sarr in the 90th minute who gave the FA Cup champions lead, and they would have been confident of holding on to that advantage when Gravenberch was sent off. But Salah in the 84th minute scored for Liverpool, probably deserved equaliser. And yeah, afterwards, great scenes as Liverpool got to lift the trophy, of course the first time with fans, because obviously that couldn't happen due to the pandemic last time out. So yeah, that was a great moment for all Liverpool fans, and yeah, a big win, a big point for them to end the season. Manchester United defeated Aston Villa to get some joy from a rather miserable season. Emi Martinez was rightly sent off in first half stoppage time, but then we had huge controversy with that disallowed goal for Aston Villa, and personally I think the ref just made a big mistake here, and how costly could that be for Aston Villa, because of course then you've got Diallo and Eriksen scoring the goals, and yeah, it's always going to be tough for Villa with 10 men, but if they got that goal you never know. But Man United in the end running out deserving victories, but yeah, Villa will be wondering, missing out on Champions League, what might have been. Newcastle survived a scare 1-0 defeat to Everton. It was Charlie Alcaraz with a goal in the 65th minute, in a quite an even game between these two teams. There was a difference, and yeah, luckily for them that result at Old Trafford secured Champions League football for Newcastle, and yeah, credit to them, what a season for them. Winning the Carabao Cup, getting into the Champions League places. I'm not sure they could have really dreamt for any more at the beginning of the season. But yeah, for Everton, also a really strong way to end the season under the stewardship of David Moyes. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1 was scoring a crucial game in the battle for the European places. And it was Levi Colwill in the 50th minute who separated the two teams. In the end, it's quite an even game, but Chelsea just had that one goal that made the difference. It secured them a top 4 place. And yeah, great job from Maresca. He's done a brilliant job since he's come in to get Chelsea into the top 4, and of course could win the Conference League as well, so that'd be a great season for them. But for Forest, I think, you know, they were taken at the start of the season, but it would be bitterly disappointing to only end up with Conference League given the position they were in. Arsenal ended their season with a 2-1 win away at Southampton. It was Tierney in the 43rd minute who gave them the lead before Ross Stewart equalised in the 56th minute, but it was a late goal from Odegaard that sealed the win. And yeah, Arsenal kept pushing for that late goal, and in the end they eventually got it, and yeah, you'd have to say it was fully deserved. In all fairness, yeah, they were the best team as you might expect. For Southampton, their miserable season ends, luckily with one more point above the record. But for Arsenal, they'll be looking to go one better next season, and a win to end the season is always nice. Europa League champions Tottenham were humbled 4-1 at home by Brighton. It was Solanke in the 17th minute with a goal before Hinselwood scored 2. O'Reilly got one from the spot, and Gomez as well in the second half sealed a comfortable win for Brighton. But unfortunately for them, it wasn't enough for European football, with Chelsea securing a top 5 finish, meaning that Brighton will miss out. But I think it's still been a good first season under Herzler. They were close but no cigar, but I think they can definitely build. They'll be the best team in the league without any European football next year, so that will give them confidence. So yeah, we'll have to see what next season's like for them. But for moving on then to Wolves 1, Brentford 1 at Molineux, and it was Mbeumo in the 20th minute who gave Brentford the lead before Wolves equalised in the 75th minute. So yeah, in the end there would have been no European football for Brentford whatever happened, but it would be disappointing for them. But I think it's still been a great season for them, hasn't it? They keep on proving the odds wrong under Thomas Frank. And yeah, in the end, quite an even game. A draw is probably the fair result, and you have to credit Vitor Pereira, a remarkable turnaround since he came into the club. Moving on into a preview of the Conference League final on Wednesday, and a game that I'm really looking forward to. Can Chelsea end a really solid season with a trophy? It may not be the most meaningful trophy, but it will still be a one that they want to win against the Betis side, who ended La Liga really poorly, dropping out of the Champions League spaces into the Europa League. So yeah, they would have put all their eggs on this game, as will Chelsea. But it's a big game for both these teams. I think Chelsea, though, when Anthony's probably the best player for Betis, you've got to fancy Chelsea to have a good crack at this and probably get the win. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Chelsea.
Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.